Hello, and welcome to this Field Ascend video. In this walkthrough, I'll show you how to invoice a job from the job record, check the invoice details, send it to the customer, and post it into your accounting package. We're starting from job number 4442. In the lifecycle chart, we can see this job was created from a quote, and we can also see the related purchase order that has been raised from the job. The job has already been priced from the original quotation, including materials and miscellaneous items. So the commercial details are already in place before we create the invoice. Once the work is finished and you're happy with the job, it may already have been emailed to the customer, checked internally, and marked as ready to invoice. Invoicing the job is straightforward. At the top of the job record, we can see that it is not yet invoiced, and the invoice progress bar is still empty. That progress bar is useful because jobs can be invoiced in stages, for example, with a deposit, a part-invoice, or a final balance payment. To create the invoice, select the Invoice button. Field Ascend opens a modal showing the default job price and sets the invoice percentage to 100%. You can change that if you only want to invoice part of the job, such as 50% now and the rest later, or 25% as an upfront payment. You can also overwrite the amount manually if you need a different value. For this walkthrough, we'll invoice the full job at 100%, then select Create. The invoice has now been created, and Field Ascend has taken us straight to invoice number 6010. On the invoice page, we can see the invoice details, including the source job number and the link back to the job it came from. The lifecycle area also shows the invoice connected to the job, with 100% displayed in brackets, to confirm that the full job value has now been invoiced. If we go back to the job through the interactive lifecycle link, the job now shows that it has been invoiced. It displays the invoice number and confirms that 100% has been invoiced. This makes it easy to move between the job and invoice without losing track of where the invoice came from or how much of the job has already been billed. Back on the invoice, we can review everything before sending it out. You can check that the pricing has come through correctly, review the billing address, apply discounts, or edit invoice details if something needs changing. Across the top of the page, there are several options for working with the invoice, including downloading the PDF, emailing it, viewing communications history, posting to accounting, and marking the invoice as paid. If we download the PDF, we can choose from the invoice PDF templates that have been set up for the account. These templates are customizable so they can include your own logo, layout, and invoice presentation. You can preview the invoice first or download the final PDF straight away. We can also email the invoice directly from Field Ascend. The email window automatically pulls through the account's payable invoice contact, the subject line, and the email body. You can choose the invoice template, preview it before sending, and then send the email to the customer. If there are linked job documents, job PDFs, PM checks, or certificates attached to the job, those can also appear here. You can tick the items you want to include, so the customer receives the invoice and any supporting documents in one email. The communications history gives you a record of what has been sent. That means you can see when the invoice email went out and keep a clear audit trail against the customer and the job. If your account is connected to QuickBooks, Xero, or another accounting package, you can also post the invoice directly to that accounting system. In this demo, the account is connected to QuickBooks, so we'll select Post to QuickBooks and confirm. Field Ascend then posts the invoice and shows a confirmation once it has been sent successfully. There is also two-way sync with QuickBooks. If the invoice is marked as paid in QuickBooks, Field Ascend can update the invoice and mark it as paid here as well. You can also mark the invoice as paid manually inside Field Ascend. Selecting Mark as Paid updates the invoice status, so when we return to the invoice list, the invoice we just created shows as paid with the green paid indicator. On the invoice list, we can also see that the invoice has been posted to QuickBooks, along with the other invoice details. At the top of the Invoices page, there is a useful summary showing outstanding and overdue invoices, so you can quickly see what needs attention. You can also send customer statements from here by selecting a customer and choosing the date range. Field Ascend can then generate the statement as a PDF, and you can either send it to the customer or download it. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.